When it comes to female pleasure, sometimes less is way more. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to use small movements to create big sensations. I'm talking about the pulse trick. The truth is, you don't have to go fast and hard to blow her mind. In fact, she often doesn't want you to. For those of you who are thinking right now, that doesn't seem to line up with what I've seen in porn or what other people have told me or what feels good for me. I have worked with hundreds of men, thousands of couples. There are, at this time of filming, 150 million views on this channel. I beg you to hear me out. Understanding how to use small and precise movements in exactly the right places is actually some pro-level. So many men get carried away when sexual excitement is high, but it is the guys who know how to take command and give her exactly the kind of stimulation she needs, where she needs it, and consistently, that are giving their partners the best, most incredible orgasms. Pulsing is a technique that targets her most sensitive areas with precision and keeps the focus on rhythm, teasing, and building anticipation. And by the end of this video, you will know how to use the pulse trick with your fingers, your cock, and even your mouth. But remember, there is only so much that I can show you here on YouTube. So if you are ready to take your movement, rhythm, and precision to the next level and learn from me and two professional corn stars, then my Thrusting and Positions Masterclass is exactly what you need. But more on that later. Before I get into the how, let's quickly get on the same page as to what pulsing is. You can think about it as the opposite of the wild, frantic thrusting movements that we so often see in porn. Pulsing is small, intentional movements that focus on a specific spot. Pulsing is all about connection and precision rather than speed or force, and that is what makes it so effective. Pulsing feels particularly incredible for women because you're going to stay in constant contact with her sweet spot rather than just hitting up against them in a rhythmic way. The key to pulsing is establishing a consistent pace, a consistent rhythm that she likes and then you are able to stick to. When in doubt, you should always start slow and work your way up in both pressure and speed, checking in on her as you go. And of course, if you're really in doubt, the simplest way to get an answer is just to ask. Small rhythmic movements. That sounds pretty simple, right? Yeah, because it is. Now let's talk about the technique. Here's how to use the pulse trick with your fingers. If you are a longtime viewer of my channel, then you know I am such a fan of all of the things that these guys can do for her. When it comes to fingering, a lot of people think about an in and out motion, but that is not the most pleasurable way to touch a woman with your hand. Instead of thrusting your fingers in and out, try one of these two finger pulsing techniques. The first one you might have heard of, but the second one will surprise you. Rather than going in and out, insert one or two fingers inside of her and locate her G-spot. It's on the front wall, the anterior wall of her vagina, and it will feel a little rougher or like a little raised compared to the surrounding tissue. Once you've found it, you're going to gently pulse your finger pads against it. Like I mentioned, you're going to start slow and work your way up in intensity. Now, the trick that makes this distinct from, say, like a come hither technique is that you're actually going to keep sensation on her the whole time. That is the most important thing for you to take away from all three of the applications of the pulse technique. What feels so good about it is that instead of doing something like this, where pressure is coming off and there are these split seconds of disconnection, you're going to stay connected the whole time. By doing this instead of thrusting, you're keeping all of that sensation constant on the place where it feels best. The second way to use the pulse technique with your fingers is to gently push them all the way inside of her, going as deeply as you can. This way, the rest of your hand will be pressing up against her vaginal opening, close to her vestibular bulbs, which also feels good. Now, once you're there, you're gonna pulse up and down while gently pressing on the front wall of her vagina. So this is, again, on the front side of her body. You're gonna create a little pressure with your other hand while you keep your fingers in to her body. Oh, wait, I gotta get the technique. There we go. Well, you push your fingers into her body as deeply as you can and pulse from there. Now, the reason that this feels so good is that not only are you capable of stimulating her G-spot, but you're also going to be giving her the sensation of being slightly stretched open with your hand because you're pressing up against her vaginal opening. This allows you to massage all of the nerves around her vulva as well as inside of her vagina. Now keep in mind, this can feel very intense for some women, so make sure that your partner likes the sensation of depth and intensity, and please use lube. It is vital, especially for anything that feels like a stretch, that you keep everything slick and very wet, and your fingers should always be wet before going anywhere near her vulva or vagina. Now let's talk about how to use the pulse trick with your mouth. This is one quick and easy way to seriously up your oral game and include something new. Again, in this way, pulsing is all about consistent, small, rhythmic movement, especially important if you are trying to get her to orgasm. Now, the next time that you're going down on her, try gently suctioning her clitoris with your mouth and then pulsing against it with your tongue while maintaining light suction. Firmly push your tongue into her clit and then pulse it back and forth in the same rhythm. If you are truly a pro, you can also combine moving side to side and up and down, but you're gonna keep your tongue on her clit the whole time. You see, keeping the movement small allows you to focus solely on the most sensitive part of her clit. And the suction is going to help bring blood up to the surface of the skin, which is going to intensify her sensation even more. Now, if you find this hard to keep up at first, don't worry. Remember, the tongue is a muscle, and just like any other muscle, it can get stronger and more dexterous with practice. You can literally practice on your own hand anytime. Now, when you're going down on her using this trick, the idea is to keep a steady rhythm. As she gets closer and closer to climax, you can gradually bring it up in speed and pressure, but don't make any big changes, especially as she is about to go over the edge. You see, when it comes to a woman's orgasm, it's often just a matter of finding the right sensation and then sticking to it until you get her there. That's why most women prefer the stable, normal setting on their vibrator instead of the 19 other settings that they come with for some reason. Well, I know the reason. It's because they were created by men, not by women. Now that you know what to do with both your mouth and your fingers, the next tip is guaranteed to take you both right over the edge. But before we dive into that, we've got to talk about movement, because how you move inside of her is what makes all of the difference. You see, a lot of men don't fully understand the art of thrusting. They are sort of making it up as they go along. If you want to have a better sex life, a deeper connection with your partner, or more confidence in the bedroom, you can. But it won't happen by accident. That's why I created my Patreon. It's more than just bonus content. It is a roadmap to bedroom transformation. Here are some of the things that you will get as a patron. Monthly live Q&As where I give you direct, personalized insights to overcome your challenges and take your love life to the next level. Advanced techniques and tools that I cannot share anywhere else. Tips that are going to make you the confident, connected, and unforgettable lover you're capable of being. You'll also get early access to my videos, exclusive discounts on my courses, and for my VIP members, even more. This isn't just about watching videos. It is about stepping into the kind of intimacy and pleasure that you are capable of. Click the link below and join me on Patreon, because nothing changes until you do. Number 3, the pulse combo. What's better than the pulse trick with your mouth or your fingers? The pulse trick with both your mouth and fingers at the same time. We all know that for many women, the best head involves digital insertion as well. This way, you're stimulating both her clitoris and the backside of her clitoris, aka the G-spot, at the same time. Now, when it comes to the pulse trick and combining oral and penetrative sensation, don't worry if you can't get the exact rhythm right all of the time. It can be a little bit like doing this. Now, for some of us, actually, it's a lot easier to keep the rhythm the same because our brain works in that way. Either way, don't let it cause you any stress. Remember, you can practice, hopefully, as much as you want. If you get it right, she will be interested in letting you practice more. So instead of focusing on perfection, just focus on maintaining rhythm and pressure in the one that feels best for her, either your tongue or your fingers. Put the majority of your focus on the one that she responds to the most strongly. In order to know that, you'll have to play around, see how she responds, or maybe ask. The reality is that both of these feel great, and orgasm isn't the only goal of sex, but when it comes to coming, she will probably be more prone to getting there through both of these sensations rather than just one alone. So figure out which has got an impact on her, focus on that, and bring in the other one as well. Pro tip, if you have music going on in the background that's got like a good beats per minute, somewhere over 100 beats per minute, then you can really get it going so that you've got the pulse and you're just like a metronome. You're just keeping pace of the music. Even if she doesn't realize this creates a very attuned sensation because you're hearing this music, that's got a beat, and then your body's beating at the same rhythm. It's almost like hypnotic in the best way. Pulse trick number 4. Penetrative pulsing. What I think we've all been waiting for, pulsing in penetrative sex, aka intercourse. The pulse trick can and should absolutely be used while you are inside of her. Not only does this feel amazing, it is a fantastic way to tease her and build up anticipation for larger movements as you begin to amp up intensity. When it comes to penetrative pulsing, there are 2 main ways you can do it. The first technique is focused on teasing, and for that, it's all about the tip. To do this, you begin by entering her very slowly, only inserting the head of your penis inside of her. Then slowly move the tip in and out, only about 1 inch, maybe 2 inches at the absolute most. I am not talking about going fully in and out of her, but rather putting your head in just as far as you can without it slipping out, and then pulsing back and forth just a tiny bit. Now, the reason that this is so effective is that it builds up anticipation before you actually finally do push into her. If you do this right, you are going to have her begging to feel the full length of you inside of her. And that is exactly how we want to start all penetration, with our partner literally begging us, do it, please, now. The second way you can pulse during penetration is basically the opposite of the first. Rather than pulsing when you are at the outermost part of the vaginal opening, you pulse when you're fully inside of her. While the movement is the same, the sensation is going to be very different for both of you. When you are deep inside of her, slowly grind and pulse into her, again, only moving back and forth about 1 inch. Now, depending on the position and the angle, this could stimulate her G-spot very precisely, or if you're very deep, it could give her A spot or P spot, aka sort of the areas around the cervix, a lot of stimulation, which can feel very intense, but also very pleasurable for many women. This gives her more consistent stimulation at the deepest parts of her, which can feel very, very intimate, because again, you're using your cock to keep sensation going while you move pressure back and forth. And now for my final way to use the pulse trick, with your pelvic floor. Believe it or not, both men and women can pulse your pelvic floor, and it feels amazing. The main difference between pulsing with your pelvic floor versus regular penetrative pulsing is that instead of coming from an in and out motion, you're coming from more of a grinding, like back and forth. My favorite way for you to use this technique is when you are fully inside of her. Rather than thrusting, press your pelvic floor against her and pulse as you grind into her, never letting your pubic area leave her. The reason that this is so pleasurable for women is that it provides one massive benefit: clitoral stimulation. With your body pressed up against her clit and you pulsing your pelvic floor, she's feeling all that sensation on the outside of her body, and she's getting this new and interesting sensation from you on the inside of her body. This is why variations of grinding can actually feel better for women than thrusting. And at least there's something that you want to be adding in every time that you have intercourse. This way she's able to feel the full length of you while also experiencing your pubic bone pressing into her clitoris and giving her sensation there. This only works if you are using this technique from a front-facing position where you can grind into her like missionary or cowgirl. But having said that, you can also pulse into her from behind or any other position. Experiment with it to see what works for both of your bodies. Remember that as you're pulsing your pelvic muscles, it also gives her a sturdy and stable base in case she wants to take charge and grind into you. Sometimes all women need to get there is a little bit of support and a little bit of control. And if you want more than just the pulse trick, if you want to master every movement that makes sex feel incredible, then my thrusting and positions masterclass is for you. I designed it for people of all body types and shapes and sizes, not just for those young, flexible yoginis that can like put their ankles behind their head and all of that we often see in thrusting and positions guides. No, I designed this course for people who experience back pain, for people who have major size differences, for people who don't have the stamina that they did back in their 20s, but still want to be able to hold interesting sex positions, because you want to be able to get all of those spots inside of a woman's body that lead to the biggest and most intense orgasms. I also teach the exact techniques that are going to have you take your skills in the bedroom to the next level, sometimes even literally. The link is in the description. Go check it out. So there you have it. One trick, 5 ways to use it, and a whole lot of pleasure potential. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you got something out of this video or this channel, why not not subscribed because I release weekly content that covers all things sex and relationships. I'm Caitlin V, and I will see you here next week. Bye.